Dust on the Mountain by Ruskin Bond. Part 3. The Picture Palace. The man who ran the cinema's tea stall had just sacked the previous helper for his general clumsiness. Whenever he engaged a new boy, which was fairly often, he started him off with the warning, "I will be keeping a record of all the cups and plates you break, and their cost will be deducted from your salary at the end of the month." As Bisnu's salary had been fixed at 50 rupees a month, he would have to be very careful if he was going to receive any of it. "In my first month," said Chitru, one of the 3 tea stall boys, "I broke 6 cups and 5 saucers, and my pay came to 3 rupees. Better be careful." Bisnu's job was to help prepare the tea and samosas, serve these refreshments to the public during intervals in the film, and later wash up the dishes. In addition to his salary, he was allowed to drink as much tea as he wanted or could hold in his stomach. Bisnu went to work immediately, and it was not long before he was as well versed in his duties as the other 2 tea boys, Chitru and Bali. Chitru was an easy-going, lazy boy who always tried to place the brunt of his work on someone else's shoulders. But he was generous and lent Bisnu 5 rupees during the first week. Bali, besides being a tea boy, had the enviable job of being the poster boy. As the cinema was closed during the mornings, Bali would be busy either in pushing the big poster board around Mussoorie or sticking posters on convenient walls. "Posters are very useful," he claimed. "They prevent old walls from falling down." Chitru had relatives in Mussoorie and slept at their house. But both Bisnu and Bali were on their own and had to sleep at the cinema. After the last show, the hall was locked up, so they could not settle down in the expensive seats as they would have liked. They had to sleep in the foyer near the ticket office, where they were often at the mercy of icy winds from Tibet. Bali made things more comfortable by setting his poster board at an angle to the wall, which gave them a little alcove where they could sleep, protected from the wind. As they had only 1 blanket each, they placed their blankets together and rolled themselves into a tight, warm ball. During shows, when Bisnu took the tea around, there was nearly always someone who would be rude and offensive. Once, when he spilled some tea on a college student's shoes, he received a hard kick on the shin. He complained to the tea stall owner, but his employer said, "The customer is always right. You should have got out of the way in time." As he began to get used to this life, Bisnu found himself taking an interest in some of the regular customers. There was the large gentleman with the soup strainer moustache who drank his tea from the saucer. As he drank, his lips worked like a suction pump, and the tea, after being stirred into a storm in the saucer, would disappear in a matter of seconds. Bisnu often wondered if there was something lurking in that untidy moustache, something that would suddenly spring out and fall upon him. The boys took great pleasure in exchanging anecdotes about the peculiarities of some of the customers. Bisnu had never seen such bright painted women before. The girls in his village, including his sister Pooja, were good-looking and often sturdy, but they did not use perfumes or makeup like these more prosperous women from the towns of the plains. Wearing expensive clothes and jewelry, they never gave Bisnu more than a brief, bored glance. Older women were more inclined to notice him, favoring him with kind words and a small tip when he took away the cups and plates. He found he could make a few rupees a month in tips, and when he received his first month's pay, he was able to send most of it home. Chitru accompanied him to the post office and helped him to fill in the money order form. Bisnu had been to the village school, but he wasn't used to forms and official paperwork. Chitru, a town boy, knew all about these things, even though he could only just read and write. Walking back to the cinema, Chitru said, "We can make more money at the limestone quarries." "All right, let's try it," said Bisnu. "Not now," said Chitru, who enjoyed the busy season in the hill station. "After the season, after the monsoon." But there was still no monsoon to speak of, just an occasional drizzle which did little to clear the air of the dust that blew up from the plains. A gentle breeze brought with it the scent of pines, reminding Bisnu of his village, and he wondered how his mother and sister were faring at home. A wave of homesickness swept over him. The hill station, with all its glitter, was just a pretty gift box with nothing inside, a body without a soul. One day in the cinema, Bisnu saw the old man who had been with him on the bus. He greeted him like a long-lost friend. At first the old man, who was short-sighted, did not recognize the boy, but when Bisnu asked him if he had recovered from his illness, the old man remembered and said, "So you are still in Mussoorie, boy? That's good. I thought you might have gone down to Delhi to make more money." He added that he was a little better and that he was undergoing a course of treatment at the hospital. Bisnu brought him a cup of tea and refused to take any money for it. It could be included in his own quota of free tea. When the show was over, the old man went his way, and Bisnu did not see him again. In September, the town began to empty. The taps were running dry or giving out just a trickle of muddy water. A thick mist lay over the mountain for days on end, but there was no rain. When the mists cleared, an autumn wind came whispering through the deodars above the town. At the end of the month, the manager of the picture palace gave everyone a week's notice and a week's pay and announced that the cinema would be closing for the winter.